So here we sit in the Town Hall Theater.
Yes.
Which I understand has great meaning for you, because when I first talked to my producers, I go, we're not going to Whitney's house, we're not sitting in her living room, we're not, and they said, no, Whitney wants to do it at this place because it holds special memories and value. Why?
Very dear one. My mother, I was 13.
Mm-hmm.
My mom had put a show together, which included my brother and myself in her act, and we sang background for her. And my mother had recorded the version to Annie, the Broadway show, tomorrow, so tomorrow. And I had the spotlight where I come out, when I'm stuck with a day that's gray and lonely. And my mother was performing here at Town Hall, and I will never forget, I was at this side of the stage. I walked out to the front, and I began to sing, and the whole audience rushed to the stage. It was that moment that my mother said, God has smiled on you, and this is what you're supposed to do. And it was on this stage here that it all happened for me, that I just remember that feeling of being, wow, okay. And my mom said, see, I told you. She said, you're gonna be doing big things. I was this little, you know, tiny frame girl with this big voice.
I look at these pictures of you. Every black girl in America, I say every colored girl, every black girl in America, we have those pictures where our braids are this and the veins. We all have those pictures. It doesn't matter. Whitney Houston, myself, Condoleezza, we all have those. That's our picture.
You gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
Got to, yeah.
So, I had you on my show however many years ago.
Yeah.
I thought, you are the voice. You are the definitive, you are the voice. That was my name for you.
You called me, you were the first person that really called me that.
You are the voice.
Overwhelming title.
Yeah. The voice.
Yeah.
There was a time I read where you were actually thinking in this past 7 years, because you haven't done an album since 2002, that you were thinking of, I read, going to an island and having a fruit stand.
Yep.
I find that hard to believe.
Selling some fruit drinks to some people and going
nice, fresh, organic fruit.
Yes, little organic fruit. Me and my daughter, and living on a little island, a little beach, you know what I'm saying? Living the simple life. You got to understand, I had been all around the world, and you know?
Yeah.
And I had done it all at that point in time, what I thought.
Yeah.
However, I wasn't remembering the gift that God had given me.
Yeah.
I had totally kind of put all that aside, and my daughter was growing up before my eyes, and I just wanted to grab hold of that.
It's amazing how fast that happens.
Oh my God, it goes by so fast. And I wanted to watch her. I wanted to be the parent, because by that point in time, I was a single parent. And watch her go to school, and when she got home, be there. We get up in the morning and say, honey, it's time to get up. And when she come home, hi, you know, I wanted that moment. At that time in my life, I was going through so much trauma. I had been through, gone through. I thought that was enough for me. I had the money, I had the cars, had the house, had the husband, had the kid, and none of it really was really that fulfilling. I mean, you know, it was for a time I was happy. But I needed that joy. I needed my joy back. I needed that peace that passeth all understanding. I needed that moment, you know what I'm saying? That when I was 3 years old, that church thing, that thing that my mother gave me that I was born into, I was looking for that.
Where the spirit hits,
yes.
Everybody has it?
Yes.
That whole hallelujah moment,
and I had thought it had gone.
That thing that happens when we saw you in 1991 and you sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Exactly.
At the Super Bowl.
Exactly. I thought I'd done everything I was supposed to do. And Clive said, no, it's not done yet. I said, Clive, I've pretty much done it. He said, no, there's some more to go.
Legendary music producer Clive Davis discovered Whitney when she was just 19. Together, they've created 8 multi-platinum albums. So tell me why you thought you'd pretty much done it, because there's a wonderful quote by the LA Times. They said, the pain and frankly disgust that so many pop fans felt during Houston's decline was caused not so much by her personal distress as by her seemingly careless treatment of the national treasure that happened to reside within her.
Wow.
The national treasure.
Heavy.
Heavy. I understand what they're saying. You were not like any of the others. You really were given the voice.
Wow.
You were given that treasure, and that people felt, how could you not know that that was to be treasured?
I knew in the days when I was a teenager singing for God, I was so sure of it. When I became Whitney Houston and all this other stuff happened, my life became the world's, my privacy, my business, who I was with, who I married, who and I was like, that's not fair.
I get that.
I wanted to go to the park. I wanted to walk down the street with my husband hand in hand without somebody looking at us and going, oh, or having the media always in my business. Or saying what we are and we weren't. Or saying what we were doing and we weren't. Or subjecting my daughter to the scrutiny that she was just born into. She didn't ask for that. So I just wanted to be normal. I wanted to have fun. I had no normal 20s. I had no normal 30s. My life was filled with making records and doing tours and traveling the world and going every place. And
That's so interesting that you would say that, because for years I have thought that in many ways, the Whitney Houston that we have seen has been a creation of the media. That obviously your voice and your talent is what it is, but the gowns, the hair, that first video, all of that stuff was a creation.
Yes.
You were really somebody else.
I like to wear jeans and t-shirts and sneakers.
Yeah.
On any normal given day, that's me, you know what I'm saying? I love to get dressed up and I love to do makeup and hair and stuff.
Yeah.
But that was my performance, that was my entertainment, I remember.
And so then when you're expected to be that all the time?
It was too much. It was just too much. Too much to try to live up to try to be, you know? And I wanted out at some point.
You wanted out.
I did.
Was marrying Bobbie a way to be out?
In a sense, because he allowed me to be me. He was fun, passionate, loving. We were crazy love.
You know, I interviewed him on my show.
Yeah, I know.
And I only spent 1 hour with Bobbie Brown. And in the 1 hour with Bobbie Brown, I could see I could see that thing, that energy and how alluring that could be. Yes.
We were,
depending on where you were in your life. Yeah,
absolutely.
It was crazy love.
Crazy love. Crazy, passionate, just exciting, just, we could look at each other and just sweat, start going sweating, you know what I'm saying? It was mad, it was crazy. And
you with him, is that who you really were?
That was the passionate, see, there was that passion about me, that woman.
But there were so many people who felt, because the image had been painted, there you are in the gowns and the this and the red carpet.
Princess marries the bad boy.
I was going to say, you were, you know, Disney's doing this big movie on their first black princess. You were the first black princess.
Is that right?
Yes. Okay. And so the princess marries the bad boy.
Yeah.
Was that strategic on your part? Was part of that by design?
Really wasn't.
It wasn't.
It wasn't. I was at a Soul Train Award show. He came out on stage singing My Prerogative. He was fly. He could move, man. And
what did he say to you? That were you first interested in him, or he interested in you?
He pursued me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did he say?
She was like, you know, Bobbie was more like, you know, he was like, hey, check this out. Let me ask you something, you know. You know, if I asked you to go out with me, would you say yeah? I said, yeah, I would. I certainly would. From that moment on, we clicked. We were friends. 3 years we went out before we got married. 3 years. We dated. Did all over the world. We did what we wanted to do, kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? We did.
And the fact that everybody thought, what is the princess doing with this guy?
They don't have any idea about that sweet, gentle tenderness about him that nobody knew. He was a very quiet person. He wasn't, when that entertainer came out on stage, he did that thing. But at home, he was very much the father. He was very much the man. He was very much in control. I liked that.
You liked that?
I liked that. Because I was in control of all my stuff. And then here he comes along.
I can see that.
Yeah, and everybody was, was like, wow, she's got somebody now. Like, when he said something, I listened, I was like very interested in having someone have that control over me kind of thing, It was refreshing.
It was refreshing because in every other aspect of your life,
I was in control.
You were in control.
Everything, yeah.
So it was for you an opportunity to release control to someone else.
Yeah. And then we had fun. He was fun. He taught me how to dance, how to move my hips. All I can describe it as is passion.
Well, one of the things that I recall in an interview that you did with Diane Sawyer in 2002, the world was shocked when she asked you about addiction, and you said if there was an addiction, it was an addiction to making love.
Yes.
Yeah.
We did a lot of that.
A lot of that.
Lots.
Yeah.
We'll be right back with more of my revealing interview with Whitney Houston.
Was he jealous of you?
Oprah's exclusive interview with Whitney Houston continues.
When did it start to go wrong? Can there be too much passion? Can there be too much? Yeah.
Yeah, it can clash. After The Bodyguard.
After? Well, that was early.
93, 94, 95 was filled with The Bodyguard years.
Yes, yeah.
That record, that album lasted me. It went for a long
time,
way.
yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
That record was so huge. So I had my baby.
Biggest ever.
Oh, God. I had my baby in one hand, and I had the man of my life I loved so very much, and I was crazy for, with me. And he had just put everything aside of his own and just said, I'll go with you, don't worry about it. We'll do this thing. I think somewhere inside, something happens to a man when a woman has that much control, or has that much fame.
Yeah. If he doesn't have his own.
Doesn't have his own.
Has to have his own.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. He has to have his own.
Yeah. Yeah.
So during those years, because that was going to be my next question to you, you are Bobbie Brown, and really, you're in the shadow.
Yeah.
You're in the shadow.
Yeah. He supported me. He loved me. We fought hard. We loved hard. And I think at some point in time, other things began to take place.
Was he jealous of you?
He's not going to like this, but yes.
And then did you try to overcompensate?
I tried to play down all the time.
Yeah.
I did. I tried to play, I'm Mrs. Brown, everybody. Don't call me Miss Houston, I'm Mrs. Brown.
And when you think about that right now, when you just even hearing you say that, like the little hairs right here, all my little so-called baby hairs, just because you're Whitney Houston, with a voice that's a national treasure, like nobody else living at this time, and you're trying to pull yourself down.
Yeah. And you had a lot of people antagonizing and trying to pull at us one way to another, pull at me, pull at him,
Did you start to lose yourself in that? Because you're now trying to
please.
Yeah, trying to please.
Yeah.
And trying to not be so big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure did. Yeah.
And that's where it started to go wrong.
Yeah.
Because you started to dim your own light.
Yep. Sure did.
Do you still worry about pleasing him?
No.
You don't?
Not at all.
Not at all.
No. Those are things I could say, I
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah. I'm sure there are a few
Trust me.
things, yeah.
There's some things I really could say
Yeah,
that he would really be mad about.
yeah.
But yeah, he never liked the fact that people would say, "You're jealous of her. You're just jealous of her fame and her fortune and what she has and everything," and he would really get pissed off. But it's not abnormal for a man to feel that way, or to feel, you know, that he was lacking.
You're Whitney Houston.
Yeah, not only was the fame, but it was fortune also.
Is that why you agreed to do Being Bobbie Brown?
Yes, I did. I did. I just wanted people to know that I was his wife.
The 2005 reality show Being Bobbie Brown ran for 1 season. It was a never-before-seen look inside Bobbie and Whitney's life.
Did you realize what you were getting yourself into when you signed up for that?
Did not.
Did not.
No.
No.
I know I signed up prenuptial, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that I knew what I was doing there.
Yeah.
But however, no, I didn't know. I was in love. I was crazy in love. It didn't matter to me.
Did he come to you and say, I'm going to be doing this show and they're going to be putting cameras in our house?
Oh, no, I didn't know. I really didn't know, because to me it was just like, okay, I'm your wife. What do you want me to do?
Did you all watch the show?
Sure.
Yeah. And what did you think?
I didn't know quite what to think. I knew I was trying to be Miss Bobbie Brown. That's what I was trying to do, without overshadowing the whole situation, which was difficult.
So you did that for him?
I did. I did it for him. I did it with him. How could you not do a reality show and I'm your wife and not have me in it?
But there were many critics of it, and I think one of them called it a train wreck. Well, it was like watching a train wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's madness.
Do you think it highlighted sort of the dysfunction between you and the dysfunction in the family?
I do.
Yeah?
I sure do. Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, after seeing you on that show, started to really worry about you and what was really going on with you. What was going on with you at that time?
There were a few things.
Were you happy?
No.
Were you happy with him? Were you happy with the relationship?
I wasn't happy with the marriage.
You weren't happy with the marriage. Were you happy with yourself?
I was losing me into that.
Into the marriage?
Yeah. By trying to be pleasing.
Were you also trying to, because the world had said it wouldn't last 6 minutes, were you also trying to prove the world wrong?
I was determined. Determined to prove them wrong. So determined. And after a while, you start to lose what the real concept is of the love, and you want to make a statement. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. And I was trying to make a statement. Like, you guys aren't going to win. She's not going to do that. We got married. We were in love. We were crazy for each other. We wanted to have a family. And I'm just not going to let you do that to us. I'm just not. And so was he. He was determined. We fought for that. But then somehow it got really kind of messy and got lost and up in there, you know. And then we started doing other things that entered into the marriage that you just can't come out straight when you got a lot of outside stuff going on.
When we come back, shocking revelations about Whitney's drug use.
When did the drugs start?
Oprah's interview with Whitney Houston continues.
When did the drugs start?
All right, before the bodyguard, we were just, it was very light. After the bodyguard, I had Chrissy, it started getting heavy.
Very light with what? What was your drug of choice?
Cocaine.
Cocaine.
Yeah, marijuana, that's it. But he liked to drink. I was a drinker. The alcoholism, that's an ugly thing. Either you're going to be a really nice alcoholic or you're a really mean one. Well, he was really mean.
So his personality would become altered when he drank?
Like, dramatically.
Was he violent?
He was afraid to do things with me, like afraid to, because my family was very, very like, okay, boy, remember, I done told you once, you know what I'm saying? So it was like, he would walk kind of away from it, but me, I would become a little girl. I would become this little girl like who wouldn't say anything.
So when I say violent, and it's so interesting because every time, you know, there are so many women who hold on to, well, he didn't really beat me. And so they think because he didn't physically beat you or leave scars on you.
No, emotionally, he was abusive.
He was abusive, yeah.
Physically, no way.
No way.
Oh, no way. No. Because, first of all, I was raised with 2 boys, and I would fight you back. I would fight you back with anything I could find. You know what I'm saying? And I had 2 brothers. I had family members who were like, brother, don't do it because they won't be able to find you. That kind of thing.
Yeah. So he never touched you?
No.
Never laid a hand on you?
Like, he slapped me once.
Yeah.
You know, but he got hit over the head 3 times.
Yeah.
By
you?
By me, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I was like, okay, you're going too far.
So that was the barrier that you held. That
Right.
Once you touched me.
But emotionally?
Yeah, emotionally.
As he spoke, his words, horrifying.
What's the worst thing he ever said to you that you can share?
I just remember this moment. It was his birthday, and I gave him a party at a club in Atlanta, Buckhead, and he really drank a lot that night. He drank a lot. And for some reason, everything that I did, I tried to do to make him happy, it would turn on me kind of thing. It was like, I don't know, it was weird. And I didn't like, today I understand it because it says the very people that the alcoholics they love, they try to abuse, you know what I'm saying? So when we got back to the house, he's going to hate I said, but he spit on me. He spit on me. He actually spit on me. And my daughter was coming down the stairs and she saw it. And that was pretty intense. Because I didn't grow up with that. And I didn't understand why that occurred. But he has such a hate in his eyes for me. Because I loved him so much. He cursed me all the way home in front of his parents. And then he spit on me.
How did you feel?
I was horrified. He spit on me in my face.
Was that a turning point for you, or did you wake up the next morning and push that down or place that someplace in your psyche?
I was angry. I was very hurt, very angry, and I knew something was gonna blow. I called a friend. I said, "Come get me now," because it's at its turning point now. And I was almost 2 feet out the door at that point in time. I was ready to go, and I asked him to come get me, and he pushed me against the wall, like, "Yeah, come get her." Like I was on the phone, and I went back and I took the phone and I hit him over the head with it, and he just fell out on the floor like and all this. It was just drama, and drama. My daughter came down the stairs. She said, "Daddy,"
Blood?
Yeah. "Mom, what did you?" I said, "I told him not to do it. I kept saying, I told him not to do this. I told him not to do this." It was just one of those moments. It was just hateful, ugly.
We'll be right back with more of our season premiere with Whitney Houston.
When did you know that that marriage was not going to work? So we were talking about how light drugs before the Bodyguard and then after Bodyguard.
Oh, got heavy.
Got heavy.
Heavy. And after that, because I knew then we were trying to hide pain.
You were trying to hide pain.
I was trying to hide the pain. Yeah, I was trying to hide the pain.
Because the Bodyguard, which to the world was this, one of the biggest moments ever in the history of, CDs, albums, and catapulted you to a level of stardom.
Right. And remember, I did Waiting to Exhale after that.
Right.
And that album was
Preacher's
huge.
Wife after that.
And Preacher's Wife. By the Preacher's Wife, it was an everyday thing. I would do my work, but it was like after I did the work, like for a whole year or two, it was every day.
Drugs?
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
And you were using drugs to hide the pain.
Yeah, I wasn't happy by that point in time. I was losing myself. My mom came and got me twice, and she would talk to me. It was like, okay, we don't know what's going on, but something's going on.
Were you in denial about it?
Not really. I just wouldn't talk. I knew the unhappiness, but I didn't want anybody else to know what was going on. That was inside our home.
When did you know that that marriage was not going to work?
I just knew, I was like, you don't smell right, you don't look right, something's going on. And then all this other stuff started coming out about him being with this one or that one, or being too promiscuous.
Did that hurt you?
Dragging dirt into my home.
Did that hurt you? Were you offended by it?
It disturbed me.
It disturbed you?
I was disturbed.
Did you believe it?
Yeah. Because I checked. I checked. I didn't look for it, but I checked.
You checked. So the fact that he would be out with other women and would bring that into your
with
home?
my credit card, absolutely.
Yeah.
I had a problem with that. Yeah. Pretty much. Yeah.
Pretty much. So you knew it was over, but you were still defending against it.
Yeah, but I started moving furniture out the house. I was, little by little, starting to take pieces of myself out of the home. And I even asked him to leave. And he said, no, you leave. I said, it's my house. Why would you say me leave? No, you leave. I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. And you're not going anywhere either. I said, well, I'm afraid it's at that point. Then he slapped me, but he was on probation for traffic violations, and he'd forgotten. And
forgotten that you can't stop somebody.
Yeah, you can't slap somebody on your probation. Okay, that means you're in violation then. Okay, so it went to domestic violence court, and I just could not see me putting him in jail.
So were you always appearing and making those court appearances because you felt you had to stand by your man?
I had. I mean, yeah, I'm his wife.
You know what I get now that I didn't get then as just an observer in the world, and you're seeing another court appearance by Bobbie Brown and another court appearance, and now it's drunk driving, now it's one thing after another. I was like, why are you putting up with that? But what I now get is that you took those vows seriously.
Very. Oprah, to my heart.
Yeah, that's what I now get.
To my heart.
That you were trying to be the good wife.
God put together, let no man put asunder.
Yeah, I get
and
it.
a man shall cleave to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. I took those very seriously. Very seriously. Holy matrimony was a very serious thing for me. Because that's how I was raised.
But you were determined that you were going to...
I was going to keep my vow.
Going to keep your vows.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to keep your vows.
I never cheated. I never did none of that stuff. The only thing I did cheat was when it was just like, I just did the drugs.
In 2003, Bobbie Brown was arrested for allegedly striking Whitney Houston. He was not convicted and has publicly denied ever hitting her.
And so you thought that your life as Whitney Houston, as we know her, was done. Tell me, how bad did it get with the drugs?
When you don't speak, and you're living in the same home, and you stay right next to that person, and you're not saying a word for a week, and you're just sitting there, and you just watch TV, and you go, That's bad. Oh, yeah, That's bad.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, it was like...
Because what, are you just watching TV?
You're just,
and doing coke?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
are you smoking?
Smoking, yeah. No, we were lacing our marijuana with base.
With base.
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't, we didn't want no crack. We didn't want no crack stuff. We weren't buying like $20 jumbles.
Yeah.
We were paying money.
Yeah.
We were buying like ounces and ounces. We would have our shit.
Yeah.
For like.
But you were freebasing cocaine.
Basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our weed.
And weed. And
we weren't doing a glass. We weren't doing like pipe smoking.
Yeah.
We didn't get that far. No.
You did not?
No. Oh no.
So what are you smoking with? How do you? What are you?
You put it in your marijuana. Oprah. Okay.
Okay.
Go with me here.
Okay, go. I'm going with you.
You put in your marijuana, you lace it, you roll it up, and you smoke it, and your weed. It's just another form. It's like, almost like heroin and cocaine speedballing, but you level it off with the marijuana.
Okay.
Okay?
So your drug of choice was weed combined with cocaine?
Rock cocaine.
With rock cocaine?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the weed would sort of calm down the speed.
Level it off. Right. Level off.
The cocaine. Yeah.
Only you had to have alcohol too, which is what I didn't do. I didn't drink. He drank.
And you would do, what, volumes of that?
Oh, my God. I can't. Somebody out there had made a lot of money, you know? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so during that time, obviously, when you're in the middle of taking the drug, you're not thinking about the voice. You're just thinking about...
I had totally forgotten about that life. That was like...
That was another life.
Yeah, I had so much money by that point in time. It was like... But I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't thinking about any of that. Remember now, we were flying all over the country in jets.
Right.
Going to Paris for a day or two, renting yachts, going cruising the Mediterranean.
Did the drugs give you any sense of relief?
At times. Don't forget, there were some times we laughed our tails off. We'd have a ball. I mean, you know, sometimes you do have a good time. But when it gets to the point where you're sitting in your home and you're just trying to cover what you don't want people to know, you know what I'm saying? It's painful. And then you want more, just so that you don't let anybody see you cry. Or let anybody see that, you know, we're unhappy. It's not working. Something's wrong. What are you doing? What's happening? Why are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me? Why aren't we talking? Why are we just looking at each other and just watching the TV?
And so you thought that your life as Whitney Houston, as we know her, was done.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I had so much money and so much access to what I wanted, and everybody was giving me, what do you want? What do you need? You know? And I didn't think about the singing part anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't miss it?
No. My life went... So all my 20s were gone. I got married at 28. I had my daughter at 30. All that years were gone, and I was looking for my young womanhood.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing.
What's so fascinating is that the world sees that period in your life as Bodyguard, as this, you know, catapulting you into a level of stardom that most people can only dream about. And there was a dark side to that, because even in that time where you're shining so brightly, so vividly that it's burning our eyes to see you, you're trying to dim that light in your own home so that you can exist in peace there. Yeah. I get that.
I mean, I'm a girl raised in New Jersey. We had normal kind of living, you know what I'm saying?
Nothing prepared you for this.
My life, because Dion was a star. Yeah. My mom was very famous. You know, I grew up around it, but I just never thought that it could get any bigger. I didn't know about the largeness of being what they call icon kind of thing. That wasn't in my, I didn't even know what icon meant at the time I became one.
So that takes its toll, because you've now done everything, received every award.
I thought, I've done it. I mean, what else is there? Can I just live my life? Can I just do this thing here?
Were you weak to him, or were you weak to the drugs? Because the world's perception is that you were weak to the drugs. So when did you said you realized that the marriage was going to be over. Did you then make a decision that I'm going to get myself out?
Yep. I remember saying to God one day, I said, if you give me one day of strength, because I was weak. I was so weak to him. I was so weak to the love. I was so weak to, like, is this love? What is this? Is it, what am I into?
Were you weak to him, or were you weak to the drugs? Because the world's perception is that you were weak to the drugs.
He was my drug.
I get it.
He was my drug. I didn't do anything without him. I wasn't getting high by myself. It was me and him together. And it was that we were partners. And that's what my high was, him. He and I being together, and whatever we did it together. No matter what, we did it together.
Because you were his wife.
Yes, and he was my husband. I'm going to make this happen. We're going to make this work, and that's the way it was.
Were there days where you were drugged and didn't know what was going on? Because remember, there was a time, I can't remember what year it was, that your sister-in-law I think it was your sister-in-law who sold, are you aware of this?
Yeah.
Sold pictures of your bathroom to the tabloids.
I wasn't there then.
And she had said that there were days that you would lock yourself in a room and you would stay there and you would, you know, not speak to people for days. Is any of that true? Would you just sit in your room and do drugs?
Yeah, talk on the phone.
Watch TV?
Watch TV. Listen to gospel. I would still read my Bible, and amazingly enough, I would still read my Bible. I still had it in me. I knew God was there, and I knew a light was there, and I was just trying to get back to it. I just kept trying to get back to that spirituality, my
Because you knew you were lost.
Oh, yeah.
Did you think something was going to happen in those drug-crazed, drug-filled days where you're sitting for hours and days?
There was times where, you know what, he would smash things, break things in the home. Glass. We had a big, giant portrait of me and him and my child. He cut my head off the picture. You know, stuff like that. And I thought, this is really strange. So I figured, cutting my head off the picture, that was a little much for me. Okay, that was like, okay. That was one sign, and then there were other. And then there were other things like, you know, he started to paint in our room, my bedroom. Eyes, just eyes, evil eyes that were looking at every point of the room.
He started to paint on the walls?
Yeah, the rugs, the walls, the closet doors. If I opened the doors, there would be like one picture, and then I closed them, and there'd be another picture, and it would be just these eyes and faces, and it was really strange.
That he had painted.
That he had spray painted.
Hey.
Yeah, he started to become an artiste at the time, you know, and that was...
What are you doing with all of that?
I'm looking at it and going, Lord, what's really going on here? Because I was getting scared, because I felt something was going to blow, something was going to give.
My conversation with Whitney Houston continues next.
Your mama came to your house with the sheriffs? Had you gone to rehab?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
How long were you in rehab?
I did my stint. You know, you did your 30 days, you know. I went to one where I could take my child with me. Everywhere, I just had to have her, she was with me. I wanted her to understand. I didn't lie to her.
Really?
I couldn't.
You explained to her about the drugs?
Yes.
What did you say? How do you tell your child?
I kind of associated with our lifestyle and what could happen.
And so you took her to a rehab center with you?
With me. It was called Hope for Women in Atlanta, where you could take your child with you. And I kept her with me. I did that. And then my mother, one day, after that, I got out of that program, and it continued. You know, it didn't stop. The drugs didn't stop. So one day my mother came to my house. It was kind of funny, but like now I look back at it, I see the love and the passion that my mother has for me, she has for me. And she walks in with these sheriffs, and she says, I have a court junction here. You're either going to do it my way, or we're just not going to do this at all. She said, we're both going to go on TV, and you're going to retire.
Wow.
And say you're going to give this up because this is not worth it.
Your mama came to your house with the sheriffs?
And said, it's not worth it. She said, if you move, Bobbie, they're going to take you down. Don't you make one move. And he stood there like, he was scared, and she said, let's go. She said, let's do this. She said, I'm not losing you to the world. I'm not losing you to Satan. She said, I'm not doing this. I want my daughter back. I want you back. I want to see that glow in your eyes, that light in your eyes. I want to see the child I raised, and you weren't raised like this, and I'm not having it. So you make a choice, and you make it here today. She said, because I have a court junction that says you have to go. And I said, Mama, but do we? She said, my way or no way. She said, that's my granddaughter. And you're going to do it the right way, girl.
Was your mother saying you have to go to rehab, or was your mother saying you have to get out of this marriage?
You have to go to rehab and make a decision.
Make a decision.
With a clear mind.
Yeah.
Today, the Whitney Houston interview continues.
Does that mean you're drug-free? Where was Bobbie Christina in all of that craziness?
With a special in-studio appearance.
Did Bobbie know you were doing that interview?
Her daughter, Bobbie Christina, and
An entire studio audience of die-hard Whitney fans are about to lose their minds.
the surprise show-stopping performance. Day 2 of Oprah's season premiere event.
Yesterday, the legendary Whitney Houston broke her 7-year silence in one of the most powerful interviews I've ever done. If you missed it, I sure hope you have it on TiVo. Here are some highlights. Was he jealous of you?
He's not going to like this, but yes.
Mm-hmm. What's the worst thing he ever said to you that you can share?
He's going to hate I said, but he spit on me. He spit on me. He actually spit on me.
Your drug of choice was weed combined with cocaine.
Cocaine, rock cocaine.
Your mama came to your house with the sheriffs?
She came and said, I want my daughter back.
Was your mother saying you have to go to rehab, or was your mother saying you have to get out of this marriage?
You have to go to rehab and make a decision.
The story didn't end there. Watch as Whitney talks about the day she walked out of her 14-year marriage to R&B singer Bobbie Brown.
I just knew I had to get to a point where I had to make a choice. Mm-hmm. And I just remember praying, if you give me one day of strength, I will go out that door and I will not look back. And that one day came, and I left. I remember I said, I'm going out for some sugar and some milk, and I'll be back.
Did you know that that was the day?
I knew it.
You knew it.
I never came back.
Wow.
I never came back, and I went to L.A. But next time he heard I was in Los Angeles, I left.
And you knew when you went out for the sugar that you weren't coming back?
I wasn't coming back.
Wow.
Because everything started going up. The furniture started leaving. I started selling the house. I put the house in the market, cars, everything. I just got rid of everything.
After or before that?
After
that.
I left, and I was at a friend's house. He would not come and bother me if I was at a certain person's house, a friend of mine. He would not come there. Because she was like, if you come over here, I'm just going to shoot you. Like, if you come over here, just don't bother her, leave her alone. She's got to make some choices in her life.
Wow. Where was Bobbie Christina in all of that craziness?
I got her out the house earlier than I had left.
Mm-hmm.
I placed her with my brother, Gary, and my sister-in-law, Pat, who lived 5 minutes down the street from me. Mm-hmm. Because it was getting to be a little much, and they took care of her for their, 5th and 6th grade while she went to school. While I just, tried to get it all together and say, what was I going to do? Where was I going to go? How was I going to do this? I took her with me to California, and we lived there for a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So were you separated from Bobbie Brown for a time when we didn't even know it?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had left. Yeah, but nobody really knew.
Nobody really knew?
No.
Do you feel that she, even doing that, taking her out of the house, that she saw too much, she heard too much, experienced too much? It was enough.
She saw enough.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And spitting in the face was enough. Mm-hmm. And she said, Mom, did he spit in your face? And I looked in her eyes, and she looked in mine, and I said, yes. But it's all right. She said, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not, Mommy. It's not all right. Mm-hmm. I said, if you can do me a favor, just do this for Mommy. I'm going to put my trust in God. You put your trust in me. You may not understand it now, but just trust me. I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you go. I will hold on to you with my dear life. Just trust me, and we will get up out of this, and we'll be happier for it. And then, as you get older, I'll tell you little by little as to why things are happening and why Mommy has to go. But we got to California, and she was very angry. Did not understand. She fought me. But I kept coming back with love. I kept holding her in my arms. Mm-hmm. I kept knocking on that door, and I kept getting on my knees. Mm-hmm. I kept praying, telling her I loved her. And then I waited for him. I did. I waited for him to come back to say all the stuff that he was doing. And he was doing a lot of ugly things outside of the marriage. I just kept thinking, he's dragging us into my home with my daughter. have this. I can't let her think that this is love or this is the way that it should be.
This is after you'd moved to California?
Yes. Yes.
You were still, even after moving to California, hoping that you could get back together?
Yeah, I waited.
So about what year was this?
2006. 2006. I just got in a plane. I had 2 pairs of pants, some sneakers, a couple pair of underwear, put in my little doggy bag. A friend of mine got on a plane with me.
This is when you prayed for strength to get out?
Yeah. And one day I was lying on the floor in my friend's apartment trying to decide really what I was really going to do. And I ended up...
Was part of the decision what you wanted versus what the public perceived?
At that point, I didn't care.
You were no longer trying to fight for the image of the public?
Because I wasn't going to be in an unholy matrimony. I wasn't going to be living with a man who decided that he didn't want to live the same way I did or thought about marriage or me the same way. Being loyal, being dedicated, being true, being faithful, all those things. I wasn't going to live with someone like that. I wasn't. And he was doing all the opposite. And I wanted to stop at that point. I mean, the drugs, the whole thing. I wanted it all to just stop. And it just wanted to continue. You know, by that time, the enemy just wanted to set itself in and just take over. And I wanted it out. And I was praying hard. I was praying very hard. And my mother, being the warrior that she is, she stepped in and said, let it go. Let it go. Just let it go.
What had she been saying all this time? Did she realize how tumultuous this relationship was? Or were you putting up the facade with her too?
I can't play her.
Okay.
I can't play her.
No, you can't play Cissy Houston.
No, you can't play Cissy. Cissy comes in and she goes, I don't care what you say. I know my child. I'm looking in your eyes. And I know you're not happy. And if you don't get out of this, something is going to happen. She said, I'm not giving you up.
When we come back,
was there ever a time where you thought you wouldn't come out of it?
and later, a really big surprise.
Whitney Houston!
I've been so many places.
Oprah's interview with Whitney Houston continues.
Was there ever a time where you thought you wouldn't come out of it? That you thought that, all right, so this is where the way it's going to be. I'm going to be in this room, smoking my weed, laced with cocaine, watching TV. What are you doing? Not talking for weeks.
My husband's painting big
while your husband's painting evil eyes. Yeah. Was there a time where you thought this is just the way it's going to be?
You know what? It was, for some reason, Oprah, I never got to that point. Something always had a fight in me.
You knew there was more.
I always had a fight in me.
What finally made you decide, I'm out of this marriage? You've gone to California. You waited.
I waited. I went to California. I got me a little home there in Laguna. Some friends of mine got a plane for me. Flew me out there in a private jet. I got with a counselor. A friend who just helps people who've gone through, you know, things by giving them their lives to the business and not realizing they got lost in it somewhere. And after a couple of months, he would say he was coming, he never came, you know. And my only concern was my daughter and her perception of her father. And me trying to tell her the truth about that was very difficult. Because she was just a kid, you know, 13 growing into be a young woman. And so I'd give her bits and pieces, but that internet, then that computer man tells you, he lets you know. And she was like, Mom, this is Dad? And I was like, yeah, okay. And she saw him with the
Other women.
Thank you. Just crazy things, you know. And she said, no. She said, no, divorce him.
Your daughter said.
Just let him go. She said, Mom, I see how you are. She said, you stay here with me, you love me, you take me to school, you do things with me, you don't disappoint me, you don't lie to me. You're there for me. And he comes and tells me he's coming, and he never comes. You know, he tells me he's going to give me things, he never brings them. She says, you don't deserve that, neither do I. She was far more intelligent than I could ever imagine. It was,
if your daughter hadn't said that, do you think you would have stayed? You would have still been struggling with it? Or was that a turning moment for you?
Yeah, my spirit wouldn't let me.
Yeah.
The spirit in God is stronger than any spirit that you could ever have. And at some point, it helps you to make a decision. I had my sister-in-law who was praying for me.
Pat Houston.
Yes, Pat Houston, absolutely.
Pat.
My brothers were there for me. You know, my family, I had members that stuck by me.
So through all of this, those people
stuck by me. Yep. Yeah. And then there was Clive, who said, I don't believe it's over. He said, no way. He said, God doesn't give you gifts like that and say it's over. He said, can't end like this, can't go like this. He said, plus I still got some more left in me. And I thought, wow. He said, I'm going to give you a year and you make a decision. He said, but the world's waiting. They want to hear you again. And then I would go like to the grocery store and people say, when you coming out with another record, I want to hear your song. I want to hear you sing again. And it was like I felt the warmth of the people, warmth of mothers, saying, now that's who I used to listen to when I was growing up, you know, kind of thing. And
who do you love?
The Lord. I do. I am so humbled and so thankful by His grace and His goodness. I've never given up on me. I love my mother, my daughter, my relatives, my sisters, my brothers. I love you. Because I know somewhere in the background you were there praying too.
I was.
I know. I know.
I was.
And as horrible as they tried to make it to be, it was just life's experiences, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had never been through anything as heavy. I had a good childhood. I had a good mom, had a great dad. My father passed away, and I loved him so dearly. And that put a real dent in everything, because that's when things really started get that's really when it started getting really crazy. And my husband really started acting up. I guess he figured, you know, he's gone now.
You don't have your dad.
Yeah, yeah, but I had my mother.
But your dad suing you, that had to be hard.
Well, you know what? My dad was being influenced by people that were lying to him. My father was sickly at the time. He was in the hospital. I was paying the bills. I mean, I took care of my father.
So you forgave him?
Absolutely.
Yeah, in the end you forgave him?
Absolutely. I love my dad. I knew he was sickly. My father was in his he was in his 80s at that point. And he was in the hospital constantly with heart problems and diabetes. And people were trying to get money from him, extract money from him, just, you know, blackmail him.
But at the time it was painful, was it not?
Yeah, when you
hear
was
your dad's gonna sue you.
It was a period of several years where we didn't speak at all. But when he got sickly, really sickly, I went to the hospital and I said, let's end this right now. You're my father. And I love you. And I'm going to be here to the end. I'm going to be here. And I'm going to be the one that's going to take care of you. And finally, you know, when it all kind of came down and it was the end, everything was in my hands.
I heard you chose not to go to the funeral, but spent private time with him.
I had a memorial the day before the funeral. That was my own. That was my own. That was just my family, for me, Dion, my cousin Dee Dee, my mother. There was so much press and so many, you know, media. Some of the media was following me around. I couldn't grieve in privacy. So I had my own service. And then my father was very influential man in the city of Newark, in New Jersey. And he had a lot of friends. So I had one for them that they could go to. But I had my own, yeah.
You had your own?
Yeah, it was
hard
my own.
passing.
Yeah, yeah.
How difficult was Michael Jackson's passing for you?
Oprah's exclusive interview with Whitney Houston continues.
How difficult was Michael Jackson's passing for you?
Devastating. I have so many good memories of spending time with him. I've known his family for so many years, for at least 20. I thought, this can't be true. This can't be true. I knew he was on painkillers at one time. I didn't know how far and how deep it was. I just remember doing the anniversary special, 30th anniversary. And I remember looking at Michael. I remember looking at myself.
That's when you were so bone thin, you were frail.
I was getting scared.
Looking at him.
Yeah. And then I could see myself, I was looking at myself going, no, I don't want this to be like this. This can't happen, not both of us with Mike. I mean, there was other things that we shared.
But you were doing your own drugs at the time, right?
Yeah.
That's why you were so thin, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I mean, but there was things that were happening emotionally to me.
Yeah.
I was worried.
For him.
Yeah, I was worried. I was worried for me. It was a marriage thing. It was a lot of things that were going on. Mike and I were very close.
When is the last time you saw him?
Wow. I think it was that time, but I spoke to him during the trial a lot. By that time, he had cut everybody, a lot of people off. He didn't want to be seen.
Did he cut you off?
He would speak to me on the phone, but he didn't want me to see him. No one have I ever met quite like that young man. You know, and to have it in like that saddens me. Yeah. Yeah.
But when you saw him at the 30th anniversary, did you think, was he a mirror for you? Was
In
he a
some
mirror
ways,
for
yes.
you? That you
Yes.
think, this could be me?
I didn't want to go that road.
You don't want to go down that road?
Yeah. You know,
Does your heart still ache about it when you think about it?
terribly. Terribly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So what do you see now? I mean, you are right. I was one of those people praying for you. As is, I've never seen so many people when they heard I was doing this interview. So many people are pulling for you. So when I listened to this second cut on the CD about Nothing But Love,
Yes.
I think that that's what people have for you. Are you feeling that love now?
Yeah. But mostly for myself.
Mostly for
For
yourself.
myself. That's the great part. That's the good feeling. I have it for me. You know?
What did you learn? What is the most you've learned through this entire process? The evil eyes on the wall.
You won't forget about that one.
No, I'm not going to forget about that. That would freak me out. That's it.
You don't know, girl. I look at it and go,
Whoa, that would freak
okay,
me
this
out.
looks a little different.
Which is so unusual. You know, usually we're like, we don't like stick around for that. We're like, evil eyes on the wall, got to go.
But you know, it was difficult because he wouldn't let me go. He did not want me to leave.
And you didn't think you had the strength to leave on your own.
But I just knew that if I...
And that's why you prayed to God for just one day.
Just one day, give me the strength, and I'll go. Just one day, because I can't live like this anymore. I'm not going to share him with this one or that one, this one, that one. I'm not doing that. He's not going to drive this in my home, and I'm not going to let my daughter think that that's love.
Why do you think you couldn't leave without that prayer? What was holding you there? What was holding you there?
Habit, conforming to a way of life,
a way of life.
thinking that it's all right, you know, it'll get better.
So, does that mean you're drug-free? And so now we stand here with I Look to You, all these many years later.
Yeah.
You know, I was listening to that cut this morning, I Look to You, and meditating. When you first recorded that song,
Wow.
who were you singing that to? When you're saying I Look to You.
Let me first say that the song was written by Robert Kelly, who we all know as R. Kelly. 10 years ago for me.
10 years ago?
10 years.
All right.
He waited
Everything has its time. Yeah.
It's all, everything God's time is, you know, the appointed time. it was the first song presented to me for the album. And I wanted that to be the flavor of what I wanted people to know about me and where I look to, how I got over, how I made it through some rough times.
So you're talking about something greater than yourself.
Greater than far greater than me,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Somebody bigger than you and I.
And that's why you title the album I Look to You, because that is the essence.
Yes.
I
Yes.
get it.
That is the essence of what I wanted everyone to realize and to feel
Yeah.
that this song, this album is all about.
Well, you know my favorite cut on this album.
I do.
You knew it when you were doing it.
When I was doing it, yes.
That it was going to be my
I know,
favorite cut.
I know.
Diane Warren and David Foster
Yeah.
did the song that seemed to come from really the essence of part of your experience.
Yeah.
And I love the lyrics, lost touch with my soul. I had nowhere to turn, nowhere to go, lost sight of my dream. All of that's true?
Thought it'd be the end of me. Yeah.
Thought I would never make it.
Yeah.
But my favorite part is, thought I'd never find my way, thought I'd never lift that weight. I thought I would break. I didn't know.
My own strength.
I didn't know my own strength.
Powerful, powerful words. When I think about it now and I sing it, it went even beyond myself.
Yeah.
I went beyond myself because I thought about women who have battled cancer, women who battle bad domestic situations. I thought about single parents, you know, mothers and fathers, you know what I'm saying? Children who are growing up under such strenuous situations. Not only mine, I went deep down into another place of other people's situations, and I was like, this is for everybody. I saw myself go through the metamorphosis of it when I was in California, and I was getting myself back to me. I literally stayed in my pajamas for like 6-7 months. Just stayed in my pajamas and just to see my daughter go to school and say, okay, I'll see you when you get home. And I eat something, go back to bed, wake up, wait for her to get home, make sure she was okay.
How is Bobbie Christina now?
She's good. She's good. I don't know how to describe her. She's more and more like me every day. I thought like when she was a little
She's
girl.
starting to actually look more like you.
She does. I
Yeah,
thought, you know,
yeah,
when she was
she's
a kid, she looked like so much like her father.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
she had a father. But she is, her body frame, her face, her skin, you know.
You can see yourself in her?
All over her. She writes creatively all the time. She writes. And she sings. She's really starting to sing really well now. And
Is she good?
yeah, she is.
She is.
Yeah. I want her to take her time. I don't want anybody to touch her. I want to groom her.
So if she chooses to be in this business, that's okay with you?
Yeah, but I will be there. I will be there. Like my mom was there with me.
Are you enjoying being a mother?
I love it.
You too?
I love being a mother and watching her become a woman. Become a woman. And then there are times where she's going through that young womanhood where it's the boys, you know, and, you know, the little things, and you get her little feelings, get hurt, you know, but I love her to come to me, that she trusts me. That she trusts me. And I can tell her the truth and say, listen, it's going to happen. We're going to get through it. We're going to get through it. We're going to make it. That kind of thing. I love that. I love that. She's proud of me. And I'm proud of her. She got in the bed with me this morning. She said, Mama, can I just tell you how much I love you and how proud I am of you? She said, we did it, Mom. We did it.
How much does it mean to you? Because so much seems to be riding on this moment. Do you think of this as a comeback? Is it a comeback? Or come out? Or come through?
Come through.
It's a come through.
Come through moment.
It's a come through.
There's a song on there, R. Kelly wrote, said, don't call the comeback.
Yeah.
I've been here for years.
Yeah.
Through the drama, the pain, through all the tears. Get me off this roller coaster because it's time to get off. I'm move mountains, swim seas, and climb over walls because I'm a soldier girl.
I'm a soldier girl. I like that cut too.
Yeah.
You know, I like that
It's called
cut.
Salute.
Yeah, salute. That's the end cut.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's right.
So, does that mean you're drug-free?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, you know, don't think I don't have desires for it. There are times like, you know, it takes a minute to cleanse, get off me.
Yeah.
Just leave me alone, get off
Yeah.
me. I have to pray it away.
Absolutely.
I have to pray it away. I have a drink every now and then. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
If you see me out at a bar, you know, have a drink, don't
Don't say she's gone back.
No, please don't do that to me.
Because drinking wasn't your issue.
No, it was not an issue for me. No, no. But no weed, no coke, no. Do
you think you ever will again? Be tempted?
Oprah, I can only take today, one day at a time.
Yeah.
Only one day at a time. Right now, no.
Right now, no.
No.
Do you now know your own strength?
I know from whence my help cometh from. I do know that. And I know that is strong within me. And if ever I get low, or I get weak, I know where I can turn to. I know where I can go. I know where I can run to. I know I have people that really care about me and love me, and I know that God loves me. He loves me. I love the Spirit of God so much that I'm not willing to trade that for anything. I'm not trading that for nothing. For nothing. Because I feel joy that I can't even speak about.
Yeah.
And peace that I can't even pass it. All understanding.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just...
Because I know you can't get through this without God.
I was by myself so much during those years in L.A., and I would just sit and I would just read the Word, and I would stop and I would think, and I'd say, what do you want me to know? The Holy Spirit would speak to me, and it would guide me. And I wouldn't know how I would get to this place or that place. You know what I'm saying? Or how I, did this, or how I would even go in the studio and sing again. But I did it.
Were you afraid that you had lost the voice, the treasure?
I was afraid that I had lost the spirit for it.
Got it.
The spirit for it.
So you weren't worried about the voice?
No.
You were worried about the spirit for it?
I was singing to myself and God. But I didn't think I don't want to be behind the mic anymore.
And Clive helped you get that back?
He told me I could do it. He said, you got to do it. I was really afraid of going back into that world called the music industry. You know what I'm saying? But the music still lives in me. It's alive.
So how does this feel, this embrace, the critics, all of it? How does it feel?
When I got up this morning, I thought about, I got to honestly tell you, I wonder what Oprah's thinking right now. I wonder what she's doing. I wonder if she's praying right now.
Yeah. I was praying. That's the first thing I did. I got up this morning and I prayed to be a clear channel so that you and I could have a real conversation.
And I did the same thing.
You did the same thing.
I sat by the window. I'm on like the 50th floor somewhere, and I'm just looking out the window, and I'm just praying. I'm going.
I was on the 48th.
Okay. Okay. And I'm just connecting with you. I'm connecting with you spiritually and saying, I just want her to know that I love her. And
I was saying the same thing. I was saying the same thing.
Well, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And I thought,
And praying to be used.
Yes.
In this process.
To be a vessel.
Yeah, to be a vessel.
Yes.
Yeah. We did okay.
Yeah, we did.
We did okay here today.
We did. Thank you. I love you.